Hello, this is Nathan, better known as CrazyhermitDM, and this is my podcast, The Hermit's Homebrew. Joining me today is Brent from Langeministudio, and Chase, who is better known as Kilk.
What? Check you for pop culture?
Huh?
You know, he's saying
Oh,
this thing he was making check pop culture, and I was like, this is gonna be great. See how good I do at it.
No, it's just gonna be like stealing from like pop
You
culture
can-
and stuff.
You already talked about stealing from anime, so...
Yeah, we can. Yeah, steal.
I
From
mean, that's half of the... I mean, I was watching 2 movies today that I'm going to be stealing for the end of the campaign.
no, hell yeah.
Oh, very cool.
But that's half the discussion, just like you mentioned, Toy Bars like has similarities to the one anime character.
Oh, the Wizard King,
The
The Wizard King,
Yeah.
and Black and then he has
and then Orochimaru from Naruto. Yeah.
Yeah, he has the inquisitiveness for magic, and like, what is that? What is this?
Ooh.
Of the Wizard King.
Yeah.
But he has the drive to learn all magic, like Orochimaru
Mhm.
did for.
Yeah, for all the jutsu.
For all the jutsu,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It felt like a good. And obviously, I'm leaning more to on the Wizard King side of.
Well, yeah.
Not being evil.
But that's kind of an interesting idea. You know, find a good person that embodies these ideals, and then find a bad person that embodies these ideals, and try to put them together. Like in Rick and Morty, the most morally neutral person ever was Adolf Linkler, to where Rick literally cloned Abraham Lincoln and Adolf Hitler together.
Nice.
And yeah, so he's like every once in a while he shows up in Rick and Morty. And it's just like, what the heck?
What
So yeah,
what it allows me to do with Toy Bar is if things go poorly for Toy Bar, I can lean more into the now I'm going to learn not necessarily darker magic, just the harder magic.
Yeah.
Right. The things that hurt people.
yeah,
Versus as the story goes, if I don't, then I learn as most of the story unfolded. I was learning whimsical, fun things. I wasn't choosing things that even hurt people.
Mhm.
It was more of just like, let's see what happens.
But like the point I was bringing up with this is just like I'm not here to like argue with anyone online or anything that original narratives aren't great or aren't amazing, but most narratives can be compared to other things, even if you're not meaning to.
oh yeah.
Like
I'm a lot of people get mad at me, but I say that 99% of all stories have already been told.
Yeah.
Star Wars is
Yeah.
based after The Wizard of Oz,
And the Seven-
Yojimbo,
Yeah, Yojimbo. Yeah.
and a couple other different things
Mm-hmm. Yep.
that he just kind of borrowed
Yeah,
from.
just
Yeah,
yep.
that you're pulling from.
Mm-hmm.
Jedi were originally supposed to be
Space Samurai.
Space Samurai.
Mhm.
They've
Yep.
graduated a little bit beyond that, a little more Arthurian Knightish, but
Well, yeah, exactly. Because hey, instead of a steel katana, they have a laser sword.
Yeah.
You know, which is cool. Like if you look at the greatest love story ever told, Romeo and Juliet. Oh, okay. Well, have you heard of Tristan and Isolde, which came before that?
Right.
You
it's,
know,
it's just the same.
Yeah, it's
retelling.
yeah, and you break it down to its base components. It's guy from the wrong side of the tracks and the girl from uptown get together, and oh wait, now we're talking about West Side Story.
West Side
You
Story,
know,
yeah.
so it's like, oh, okay, cool. So whenever someone says like, oh well, they get embarrassed, like, well, yeah, I pulled from this. I'm like, yeah, you know who else pulled from other stuff? Freaking Shakespeare.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody.
yeah, everyone does. So it's just that's why we have copyright laws that say, oh, you have to change just a little bit.
to be a game master or even a player that you don't have to come up with some sort of original character or narrative or anything like that. You can just adapt. Our Descent to Avernus campaign, 52 sessions in, it was an adaptation of Avernus. It's stayed a little bit more faithful towards the front end of it, but it's really just turned into something completely different since. And like after doing this campaign, I have a lot more, I guess, respect to people that try and adapt books or anything like that into movies or TV series, and then they kind of become their own thing. Obviously, I do love a very faithful adaptation because there's certain points in books and written literature that I want to see, and I think that's the main gripe of a lot of people. But I can have a little bit more faith of like, oh, okay, it's 2 different things now. It's your own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, everybody pulls from the same stories. They've all kind of been written, and I don't think people understand how hard it is to create an entire setting of your own. The amount of hours that you have to pour into it, just to create the setting itself is just unreal.
Oh, yeah.
Like just absolutely unreal.
I mean,
so people who are saying that you should all create all your own homebrew stuff, it's like, why do all of your classes say the same thing as D&D then? Like,
Yeah,
why don't you
exactly.
have extra names and stuff. Like, come on, guys. Like,
Yeah. How, like, oh, instead of fighter, we're going to be warrior. Oh, okay, cool,
Yeah.
whatever. Oh, instead of ranger, we're going to be... What would you use in place of ranger for the ranger class?
I don't know, archer.
Okay, well, that just sounds like a fighter, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, exactly. There are certain things, though, that, like, well, don't change it because it's already good enough, you know?
Like I said, when I do my DMing run, it's gonna be based off of an anime, and there's going to be
Nice.
specific points and sections in that plot that I've been thinking about. Like, this is a moment that happened in that show. How do I adapt that into this world so that at least a semblance of this moment is shown, or at least the setting, something that
Yeah.
gives the players a reminder. Oh, that was this part of the show. That's
Yeah,
pretty
ah.
cool. Okay, cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
We have that happen all the time. Especially, you will always hit me with Anakin
Yeah.
Skywalker quotes on my Wizard Council stuff. So
Yeah, and I think, like, for obviously pop culture right now or the social media or anything like that, that's nostalgia is the main basically driving point for a lot of things right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how you get people to spend is, for people our age, it's like 80s cartoons that they grew up watching. You will have a person, if they have the funds, and maybe sometimes if they don't have the funds, but they have the ability to pay for it, that will spend hundreds of dollars on He-Man.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Thundercats.
yeah,
Or Power Rangers.
Yep.
And all that. I mean,
Yep.
I'm into Cthulhu. I'm into Star Wars. I'm into lots of different things. I have probably a couple of grand into a giant Funko Pop collection of all, and I only collect the shows I like, or else you'd be going to debt with that.
Yeah, so many.
But, like, when you're DM and all that, and you're trying to, let's say, Vicky or whatever, if I knew that she liked, A movie, B movie, C movie, I'd try, it's like, I'm going to use that information to my advantage of, like, try and lace into those callbacks to her that improve her engagement and draw her in more.
yeah. It helps with your storytelling when you
Yeah.
can connect with the audience on something they've already connected with before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when a DM and the players can connect on like an emotional level or an intellectual level, if you can do it all at once, that's amazing, and that's when like amazing stories are told.
Yeah, and it might be one of the reasons earlier on in the session she was struggling because she also doesn't.
She has
like,
no
she
ties.
doesn't go and watch Star Wars.
Yeah.
She doesn't do all that stuff, right? So like,
And we
D&D
and
is
we
like
and we
her
forgive her
fantasy
for
setting.
that.
Yeah, D&D is like her fantasy setting. So,
Yeah. And
She's
that's super cool.
literally that blank character sheet
yeah.
as a player and a character.
Mm-hmm.
She's grown a lot since then. for sure.
Absolutely.
But, like, let's say, like, you're playing Merrick and
Yeah.
you weren't a Star Wars fan.
Okay.
How would that affect your ability to play Merrick? Because you've kind of, like, thrown that in that Darth Vader type feel of, like, or that mentality at least at certain points.
Yeah, I think it would actually because I don't know, just from my own experience with movies and reading and whatever, I don't know a character that more exemplifies the idea that I want to do with Merrick than Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe there's, the like a to pull from history, there's Attila the Hun, but that's I'm definitely not gonna play an Attila the Hun character because I mean he literally changed the carbon footprint of the planet for about a decade and a half.
Right.
And a third of
I've-
Mongolia is related to him now.
Like, in your role playing, I've seen shades of, like, Anakin or Darth Vader
Yeah,
in there
mhm.
because that's Anakin's whole, like, fall arc of it wasn't like there's a lot of fans that say, like, Padme dying and all that was, like, the breaking point, but, like, if you really go back to, like, Attack of the Clones to Revenge of the Sith and all that, is he wanted to control everything. He
Mhm.
wanted to control the outcome, and that's what led to, like, the Jedi aren't providing what I need. Like, you know.
The Jedi are almost the antithesis of total control. It's like, no, I mean, even with Mace Windu, he was like, yeah, we're keepers of the peace. We're not soldiers. Well, okay, general. Okay, you know? So.
And then, like, his mom dies.
Yep.
And that's his next thing is like, I want to control life and death.
Mm-hmm.
And then he keeps having fever dreams of Padme, and that really drives him even further because that's the only other person other than Kenobi that he's had a strong bond with besides his mom. Yeah,
no, absolutely. Even before his mom dying, Qui-Gon dying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's Qui-Gon's one that got him out of slavery and got him off the planet and did all of that. Yeah. So yeah, it's just all these people that have done good things for me or that I enjoy being around. They're dying, and I don't want that. Mm-hmm.
And Merrick's had lots of shades of the same thing, and I've tried to convey that is the people that he relies on, they don't die. Excuse me, they let him down.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
They don't live up to. They don't live up to his expectations.
Yeah. The with
episode 1 of your dad.
Yeah. Right out of the gate with Merrick's dad. And it's like, oh, okay, I see how this is going to be.
And we talked about in the previous episodes, is the world is shit.
Yeah.
If us having lots of fun as a friend group, as a gaming group, and whatever else throughout our life events and all that, and giving every other week 3 or 4 weeks of escapism, plus a little bit more now with this podcast, and doing one-shots here and there with Call of Cthulhu or whatever else, and you guys enjoying me torturing you and killing you in Call of Cthulhu as escapism, then so be it. But, I have fun doing that because, lets out my little bit of a horror brain.
You just get to be a little bit more of an eldritch god than you already are.
Yeah. But, like, drawing in, like, new players like Vicky, like, I think that maybe that should be on, like, because I do have those like 6 to 10 questions I hand everybody out on the session 0 to kind of help me. I should maybe add that. It's like, what's your favorite movies and TV shows?
That's a good one. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It just means that your library of stuff you have to watch is going to grow. Yeah. Unless you're like, ooh, hey, I've seen all of these.
Right. Yeah. Maybe.
Or I had a old.
It does let you connect with the player a little bit more when you can make a reference to what that player is seeing in a way that they can understand.
Yeah.
So.
I know, God, how many pop culture references I make just because I'm a giant nerd throughout the time, and it just falls flat because no one knows it. And I'm like, oh, no one knows that show.
Like, oh, okay.
I wish so and so was here. Or they'd get
the references galore that you guys are going to run into in my campaign are going to be wild because we are going to be in a world of heroes.
Oh no.
Good.
Like.
Do I have to watch the show Heroes?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
But you should.
But I should.
I have them all on Blu-ray if you don't need to. It kind of goes downhill after season 2 because of the writer's strike.
How many writer's strikes have we had to suffer through?
A lot.
3 within the last 15, 17, 20 years.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to run into, and basically, they're not going to be, like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
He's not going to walk and be like, I'm Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, of course not. No, that's just poor writing.
Right.
Anyway.
But if I decided to make a character out of him, I would give him a name that has some weird homage.
Yeah.
That fits in the realm, and I would stat out something fun.
He's over there drinking some blue milk.
Right. He would have all kinds of telepathy and telekinesis.
Yeah.
And, all this other stuff.
Or like Higgy.
Higgy.
I didn't stat her out.
Right.
I literally, if you wanted to actually engage with her like on a stat level, I would have went to Volos and just found the Necromancer stat and upped her a bit.
Right, yeah.
Double her hit points, double her saves.
Gilvickle, when his original concept was 2 people, I was re-binging Frasier, and there's Gil, and they're the will-to-do guy that talks like this.
Yeah.
And that was the voice. And then Rick Moranis from Ghostbusters.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, cool.
That was, put those 2 together, that's Gilvickle in my mind with the Tinkerer.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, that's fair.
I like it. I mean, so much.
Mixing characters together.
Yeah.
Like grabbing personality traits from each one is always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about your campaign coming up, and I'm gonna do that for my next character. I'm gonna try to find like an ideal or something, and find a person from history or from pop culture that's a good person with that one, and then find a bad one and try to shove them together. That's a really interesting idea.
Yeah, because if things go well for your character, like I said, you can continue down that good side, but you know what the bad side looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm trying not to marry an idea before we get to his campaign because I found like, oh, I want to play this so bad, and then you'll get a really even better idea right before, but you're already committed to
But you're committed, yeah, exactly.
You're married to this other idea.
Character
Why would
creation
you
at
just...
its finest.
Exactly.
Why would you go for this new one when you're married to this one for like the last 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, and then you're torn.
Yep.
There's a reason I haven't made any new characters beyond Rumlock and
Rumlock and
Malachi.
Malachi. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's
Because
also...
I would get lost in what I want to play.
Yeah.
Because I have some really cool ideas, and I don't want to sit down on like D&D Beyond and start like making it because I'll be
And I think
lost
that
in
was the downfall of part of my old group that Brent was part of, because you had 2 or 3 players that would just cycle through those.
Yeah.
And they get bored with the character they were
Yep.
with.
Yep.
And wanted to play something else.
And that's okay.
And yeah,
That's
it is
As long as
okay.
You guys can find like a thematic way to make that go away, but it also kind of takes away from the longevity of that character in the campaign. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
because now all the experiences of that character are kind of gone now.
yeah, technically, when this campaign ends, the only character that was left in the party that started is Rama.
Yeah.
Rama was part of the original group.
Oh, from the previous campaign, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, when it was Rumlock, and because Nick's character got sold off to the Giants.
And then Dola the bunny, because I found her name the other day.
Who?
It was Dola the
the bunny.
The bunny bard.
Yeah, the bunny bard.
Oh my god. What?
And I swore when she first told me Dola, and I'm like, is that the name of the female rabbit from Space Jam? I had to look up.
Lola.
But it's not. It's like one letter off.
It's Lola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rama's character will be the only one that started from session 0.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because I swapped Toy Bar out for Rumlock
Mm-hmm.
to mostly better help the group.
That, and I think just like,
We
you already
didn't
knew
have
it was going to be a serious campaign.
Well, has it really been serious?
Well, very serious themes.
Yeah, that's true.
If we think about our party dynamics right now,
Yeah.
take away Toy Bar and
Okay.
all the hijinkiness and put in a
Warhammer Berserker.
a
Slayer.
Slayer.
A dwarven slayer.
Right.
Yeah.
And who wants to fight the biggest and the baddest? Like,
Oh my god.
you want to get into that?
We would just leave a
You
trail.
want to get into that door because you guys think something really bad is in there? I'm going right through it.
We just leave a trail of blood, even more blood behind us
you
than
ever
we already
seen-
have.
That just like reminds me. Have you ever seen the movie with Keanu Reeves? It's called The Replacements, where they basically like a bunch of
Yeah.
people that
The football movie.
The replacements. Yeah.
There's a quarterback.
There's a linebacker in that where he was like a SWAT team member and all that, and he just like takes advantage of it, and the coach goes, "I want that ball."
Yeah.
And he knows the dude's a bit unhinged. He's like, "I want that ball. You want the ball? I want the ball. I want the ball." And then he just jumps almost literally over both the O line and the D line and just like gets it.
There you go.
So all the like hijinky stuff that didn't happen. Instead, we would have been doubling down on a conquest paladin
And a slayer that just wants to die
that
and
wants
kill
to
everything.
fight the
Yeah.
baddest.
And before we get too far,
You know?
that
Alright.
Berserker linebacker is John Favreau, who now basically helps run Star Wars.
Yeah,
That's John.
Daniel Bateman is the name of the character, because I used to use a lot of those names for when I was like really into Madden and make my own teams.
Yeah, so the character dynamics, it
Yeah.
would have made the adventure much more serious and more violent.
That's true. Yeah, you're true.
Because the first fight that we were in, I was knocked. Like that we did on like session 1 or 2.
Yeah.
In the
Toy bar?
in the bar.
Toy bar or Rumlock?
Rumlock.
Rumlock,
Our
okay.
very first fight, and it was like a half ogre and his pirate crew walked
Oh, wow.
into the bar, and they picked. Rumlock stayed out of the conversation, but once the fight was picked, he went right after the ogre.
Okay.
And
then-
it was, there's a dude in front of me. I'm hacking through the dudes in front of me to get
To
him.
get to
And
the
then-
biggest, baddest.
Doesn't matter what's
Yeah.
happening over
It's
here.
Someone say, I don't
It's
remember
in
the
my
first fight
little
was.
jar, the gumball jar over there, but I had the body like die or whatever. that has all the body parts on it.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Fallout 2D21.
Okay.
But he got a horrible scar, and it said head. I'm like, oh, you now got a half-glass glow smile.
Nice.
You think, and it gave me advantage on proficiency
Intimidation,
right?
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm already proficient in intimidation.
So
because
now
I'm a
advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Nice.
go, I'm not even sewing it up.
Yeah, just leave it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I did. I just left it there.
Just
I'm like,
leave
okay.
it. Yeah.
And so our entire dynamic of this entire thing would have shifted, right?
Yeah.
Because Rumlock wouldn't have cared about your character's mother.
Oh, hell no.
He wouldn't have. The Walden wants to. He'd been like, "You're a vampire lord." Yeah. He would have been like, "Let's go."
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And I even told Nathan, I was like, in the book, you go into Baal's Forge, and you can make the deal with Baal.
Yeah, Surtur, basically, in ours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It would have been Bridget, right?
Yeah, Bridget, I guess, if I hadn't.
And you can make a deal with him. And I told Nathan, I was like, "There's no way that Rumlock walks out of that room."
Oh, okay.
Like, it just, if I'm playing my character correctly and he
Yeah.
sees a demon lord,
Oh, yeah.
like, this is the greatest thing he could ever think of
Yeah.
fighting, and he would have just been like, and I would have done it. I would have been like, it's full on.
Yeah, this is like, yeah, he is a god tier threat. Let's do this.
And,
yeah.
you know, if my
All right.
character died right there, they died right there. Like, it is what
That's
it is.
his point. Yeah.
We had a
Okay.
good conversation with Toy Bar about whether or not he stayed at the Mage Council,
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because that was really hard for me. But you know, Rumlock would have showed up in Helheim, and it would have, or in Muspelheim, and it would have been bad.
Yeah. We're just gonna kill everything.
I just feel like he's better suited for your
Okay.
campaign.
That's cool. Yeah.
Your campaign, or even I think Malachi would be really cool. My changeling cleric of the Norns.
I still think if you play Rumlock, and if we go through that angle, I think it would just, and then giving Brent just that little breadcrumbs of playing a dwarf bard that looks eerily similar to this Rumlock guy, but it's the exact opposite. But the dwarf bard's an orphan. Rumlock's a dude that has no family. He's forsaken his family. He's gone off on his own. But they look very much alike.
I haven't really decided if they're actually.
Yeah. Oh, no,
brothers.
I let the DM decide.
But like, every time everybody looks at him, like, is that your brother?
Yeah. Like,
You guys
No,
related?
I don't have any brothers.
As far as Rumlock knows, you don't know.
yeah. Yeah.
That
That's
or
what
it's
I
like
don't
at the end of one of those sports
He's
movies,
like-
it's like, yeah, that's my brother.
I didn't have a brother at the clan.
know. Yeah. I don't know.
Clan Hall.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, we'll find out.
Yeah. And even that is taken
Interesting.
from Warhammer, right? So
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly. Yeah. Almost everything that everyone does, you will find a connection somewhere to something else.
for
It's almost impossible to not find it.
Some of the examples I came up with when I was typing this out, because this was originally one of the panel ideas for Midwest Fest, but
Lion
had
King
to-
and Hamlet better be on that list.
that could be one of them. I actually came up with 3 different ones, but because I had a sick kitty who was
Aw.
with all his little heart disease, and he refused to take meds for the people that were basically babysitting him and didn't have his meds for 3 days, I harried on home because he was getting sick. But the 3 here's 3 very good campaign ideas, taking from Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, a swashbuckling adventure where you include the arc in the story that revolves around uncovering a secret behind a cursed treasure or artifact that is said to give immortality.
Okay.
But the group comes to find out a couple of sessions in that it comes at some sort of terrible price. Like you run into the last group of adventures that paid that price as well.
Right.
Um,
I'm always interested in water adventures in D&D because I feel like the majority of everything we ever talk about with D&D and a lot of the groups, I feel like very few of them end up on the seas.
Oh yeah. Well, because we're land-based animals, so that's all we know.
Right. But the amount of cool monsters in the monsters manual and in all the other ones that are sea-based creatures that are designed for ship fights is so cool. And I wish that there was
And
more of it
considering
sometimes.
we're playing a Nordic campaign, it just would be a nice slide.
It would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could slide in so easy.
The one that I really liked.
Do you want me to
that
change? Do you want me to change from Niflheim to aquatic?
Oh no, I'm
You-
just saying in D&D in general, all
I
I ever
mean,
see, you never see these aquatic
You could
battles
still
happen.
technically
Yeah.
do that because, what is it? So there's our main continent that we're on,
Yeah.
which is Garatoka is the world, but Tithyron is the continent that we're on.
Mm-hmm.
Across the sea is Prialgard, which is a lot of my older campaign. A lot of the lore went there.
Okay.
Like all this stuff. None of that survived past Ragnarok in that one campaign. So it is a nation of ruins and adventure. The only thing I write in my campaign guide is people have tried to make settlements after settlements after settlements there, and they all and I take inspiration from the Roanoke's. They all mysteriously disappear when people come looking for them.
Mm-hmm.
Croatoan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right.
And this could lead into this. Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World. Players are sent on a rescue mission of an NPC that is very important to each of them, and perhaps they are just compensated enough to go on this rescue. They're taken to a remote location or continent that is inhabited by large monsters. Along with the way of returning, they come to find some sort of research facility or a wizard's tower, depending on what system you're playing. And you have to avoid fighting these large monsters in the process or being hunted by them if the group chooses to uncover the secrets of the monsters along the way.
Ooh, nice. And that could tie into our current campaign to where there's a guy that from the Mage Council that's like, oh, the aberrants are trying to break through. He's trying to study the aberrants, and now there's an aberrant problem. You know, so nice. All right, interesting.
There's
interesting.
a lot of cool ideas.
Yeah, I like that.
The other third one was just because I'd rewatched it on YouTube because it's free for right now, is the Dark Crystal.
Oh yes.
The group gets wrapped into a campaign that has 2 factions or nations or species or that are at war, each seeking to unite a shattered crystal for each of their own purposes.
Okay.
And then you can take it one step.
Dark Crystal is a D&D adventure by itself.
Yeah. You can take it even one step further and make it extra complicated if your group is morally gray with the storylines like ours is right now, and make it to where there's benefits and downsides of which faction you reunite with.
Mm-hmm.
We're dealing with that right now.
Oh yeah, and that's going to play in my campaign, my Svartalheim campaign.
Nice.
You will be able to pick what faction, and if you guys want to switch, you can do it at any time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are pros and cons for each side.
The one thing I noticed, in video games, obviously it would probably be a lot of extra coding, but if you went halfway down with this faction, then and then switch to different, that new faction doesn't really address the fact that you went to this level with this faction now.
Yeah,
and now you're here.
Yeah, you're a traitor. You know.
Right.
Yeah. At best, you're a mercenary, which means at any point in time you can just be like, oh hey, screw it, I'm out.
But even if they just put it into the
contractor. There you go.
If they put it into just the NPC dialogue of you're walking along and you're like, oh, you're that guy that abandoned the other guild. Why should we trust you?
Right.
And then you're just walking by him, and then you're just like, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, screw you, man.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? When we talk about all the things that you can pull from.
Oh yeah.
The amount of ways that you can just twist things, and the interesting thing is this adventure. All I really wanted to do when I brought the idea up was run the book. I just thought that the Descent to Avernus book would be cool. I love the Baldur's Gate world. I played the first Baldur's Gate and the second Baldur's Gate.
Same.
I did all these things. The Baldur's Gate world is cool to me.
I think you brought it up to Nick first, just
Yeah.
because the group had split apart.
Right. And then I was like, I bet Nathan would be down.
Yeah.
And, I just kind of rounded everybody up, and it seems to have worked out really well.
Absolutely, yeah. I
always
like the group we have.
Hear about how a lot of times stories are never finished in groups because of how long D&D takes.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
Hey, tabletop gamers. Thank you for watching this episode of the Hermit's Homebrew. We come out with new episodes every Wednesday. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends as we continue to level up and grow.